Hey, what's up, Yins? This week on Car Dad Bill, we have the 22 Mitsubishi Outlander SEL Super all-wheel control, 2.5 liter, 7-passenger. This is the bigger of the two. We had the smaller one last week. Now we have the larger version this week, and it's pretty sweet. Let's go for a ride. All right, guys, we're outside the Outlander, and this is a really spectacular looking SUV, really, when you think about it. And a couple of things I want to note right off the bat are the grille area, where the headlights are placed now, placement of the headlights, the LED running lights, the fog lights. This whole front end just has a very, I don't want to say aggressive, but it's very elegant and it's laid out different. And there's lighting actually in here. The daytime running lights, when you have like the running lights on, not the daytime running lights, but just the regular running lights on, like your tail lights and everything, those light up. It's pretty nice. Reverse reflection LED lights, large wheels. Look how nice that wheel design is. And then look at all the design elements we got going on here. We have this line here, the sculpted line at the bottom, big wheel arches up here. The hood kind of wraps around. And then look at the back. It goes straight up into the back, and then it has a missing, the black piece makes it look like it's missing up there. It's just a sharp design, straight down the back. Flat back again. Then we have those LED tail lights that I always love. Kind of a fake dual exhaust back there, because there's no dual exhaust. It's just really an overall elegant, nice looking SUV. Let's hop inside. All right, guys, we're inside the Outlander. I'm going to turn on the car. I want you guys to see this graphic that happens in the beginning. That's sick. Look at that. And then look at this interior. Let me slide my seat back. This seat, there's like the ease of access setting in these cars that pushes the seat forward and backwards, and that does that sometimes. But look at the interior on this thing. Look at that, like the leather across the dash, the stitching up here. I love how the vents blend all the way across. Now these light up. So over here, this bar here lights up at night all the way across. And then look how uncluttered and elegant it is in here. These are obviously all digital. And look, they're 3D. Look at that. Isn't that dope? I mean, that's awesome. You have regular HVAC controls down here, normal. And then this super streamlined, elegant area here. I mean, there needs to be something here, but maybe not. Maybe there doesn't. It's nice and piano black, glossy finished. Here's your parking brake, your auto hold. All your different traction control settings and drive modes are down here. And then this goofy thing. It's goofy, but it works. I mean, you're in drive, you're in neutral, you're in reverse, you push it for park. When you're in reverse, you have a really nice screen, really high definition look at what's going on around you. And like I said before, this screen, which is controlled by this, so you can get everything you need up on the screen. You can see my average mileage right there. And then this has everything that you need. You have your digital readout for your speed right there. There's also a heads-up display. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of like right in there somewhere. It's kind of difficult to see on the screen. But this thing is sweet. I love the interior. I love how this all looks. I love how it all works together. Love this steering wheel. It's kind of smaller than a normal steering wheel, but I like it. It's got a good feel to it. Obviously, it's got a heated steering wheel section down there, button, so we can heat that up. Love the aluminum look here. These are all automatic down windows all the way around the car. All of them go down automatically and up automatically. Bose sound system. And just look at that. Look at the stitching on the seats. I mean, this is a Mitsubishi. Not a bad product. This has the autonomous cruise control as well. So while there's buttons here, you know, to control all this stuff and some of your cruise control things, it's not a whole lot to worry about. Here's your menu. Do that. Do that. Map. Go back to main. Go to audio. You can pick your audio. Sound system's not terrible. It's a Bose, so it's going to be decent. So that's how everything works up here. It's fairly self-explanatory. It's not hard. You can tune over here. You can push for sound. Same thing. Volume over here. Volume over here. It's very nice. Let's take a look at the back seat. Getting in the back, and we are full-fledged in the hockey season, so the cars are getting messy. Same design though. Same stitching on the doors. You know, speaker, all that good stuff. And then these actually, they already have privacy glass, but there's also this shade that can go up for additional tinting. These seats move forward and backward, but not very easily. You have to really muscle them, and kids have a hard time doing them themselves. You flip this forward and pull it, and that's how the kids can get in. They step up here, step into the vehicle. And those seats fold up, and we'll get back there in a second. There's also a center console. This slides down, there's cup holders in it. But static seat belts, so the kids can get their seat belts fastened pretty easily. And you can see the legroom is a little bit tight back here. If you have people in the third row, you have to especially move this forward, and it makes it a little bit difficult. Let's take a look at the back. Hit the button, pops the trunk. Hockey gear, okay? Hockey gear. Fits back in here with no issues whatsoever. I can put Joey's stuff in there. I can put mine next to it, stack it up. This is a nice cargo area. Now with the seats up, the storage area shrinks. In fact, here's the smaller bag, and that's how big it is back here. Willie's hockey bag would probably fit in there. I would have a hard time closing the hatch. That being said, also, look at this legroom, or lack thereof. That seat's pushed forward, that seat's not, and you're not gonna be able to sit there without that seat moved up. Same thing here, but it is there. You do have 7 passenger seating in this SUV, and good storage whenever that stuff's pushed down. And those seats, by the way, go down by this latch. You pull this latch up, fold it down, pull this latch up, fold it down. Same thing to pull them back up. You grab this and you lift up on it. Charging port back here. This folds those down. Not too bad. Let's go for... Hey guys, one more little thing. The low fuel light came on, right? And it lights up down here, and it tells you right here, but look at that. It tells you what side the gas tank's on. Now, normally, most cars, all cars, show you the gauge down here where the low fuel is, and it tells you which side the gas can's on, or the gas tank's on. I don't know why I keep calling it a gas can, but look at that. That thing, that's pretty neat. Cool. So first impressions on this, I got it last Wednesday. It goes back tomorrow. I only have it for 6 days this week. But first impressions on this are extremely elegant, sculpted design, and way better than the Outlander, the Eclipse Cross that I had last week. It's just overall more luxurious, more well built. It feels more solid, and all that. That's the first impression. All right, guys, it's cold today. My hands are cold. But I want to go over the Monroney so we have a little bit of an idea of where we're at. 26 miles per gallon. And you guys saw earlier on there when I was flipping through the menus that I'm averaging about 26 and a half. I think I got like 32 on the highway when I drove on the highway for a little bit. 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder, direct injection, super all-wheel control, the paddle shifters. The MSRP on this, before all the options are added, is $33,745. I don't think that's terrible. I think that's actually really good for a 7-passenger SUV with all-wheel drive and all the options this has. Apple CarPlay, wireless charging, all your different traction settings, heated steering wheel, moonroof, all that good stuff. Not a bad package for the price. The bottom line bumps up with the additional equipment of $3,000. The additional equipment is the SEL touring package, which puts the heated steering wheel, synthetic door leather, and these seats, the 10-speaker Bose sound system, the panoramic roof, that stuff, the pull-up sunshades. So that little bit of extra gingerbread bumps that price $3,000 to $37,995. Again, not horrible, but that's where we're at. Let's go for a ride and talk about it a little bit. All right, guys, so I want to go over some of the pros and cons that I found with the Outlander during my time with it. There's a couple things that really stand out to me that I want to go over and kind of bring to light. Overall, I want to get out there that I think this is an extremely well-made vehicle. I was absolutely impressed by it during my time with it, and I feel like people don't look at these as family haulers because they're a little bit smaller than the normal family hauler, like the Tahoe or the Explorer, things that are a little bit bigger inside. Now, granted, I have 6 kids, and it's hard to fit them all in here just because the leg room is really the biggest con. But let's start off with the good. The good starts off with the design, the sculpted exterior, the lighting, the wheels, the whole package. The exterior of this thing is spot on. Now, the polarizing front end can get a little bit, some people think it's ridiculous, some people think it's great. I personally like the way that they've moved the headlights kind of down farther on the fascia so that you have a better visibility with lighting. Some older cars, and some cars still today, the lighting is up higher on the fender or the front fascia, and the daytime running lights are at the bottom of that. So your lighting has to come down, and that's where you get sometimes you get glare and people coming at you, and the lights are coming at you because they're sitting up high. But now, if you start putting lights down lower on the fascia, that means the lighting is going to be lower on the ground, obviously, and it's not going to glare in people's eyes as much. I think it's going to be an overall improvement on the road. The second thing about this car that's a pro to me is the interior. You guys saw from the earlier video, the interior is laid out really, really well. It's got really, really nice textures, different materials. Everything's layered really well. The steering wheel's the right size. It looks and feels luxurious, and that's kind of what you want in a vehicle like this. And then the gauges, the 3D gauges that are in this thing are fantastic. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, there's digital gauges all over the market right now with different types of animations and stuff inside them. But these 3D gauges that kind of roll as you drive, excuse me, I love how that looks. And I think it's the wave of the future. I think that's how a lot of car companies are going to start building their different LCD screen, you know, gauges with their speed and tachometer and things like that. It's going to start to go that direction, and I'm all for it. I love it. And then I said the last thing is just the overall execution of this vehicle is spot on to me. I was not expecting this when I got the car, and that's not to say that I have low expectations for Mitsubishi in general, because I don't. Mitsubishi had the Lancer Evolution for many years back in the day, and that was one of my favorite cars to drive. I mean, you want to talk about a performance sedan, compact sedan that made the WRX STI run for its money. That was it, man. I mean, that was fast. Then there was the Eclipse Coupes back when I was a kid, the turbos. Fantastic stuff. I mean, Mitsubishi made good vehicles for a very long time, and this one is no different. And I'm very happy to have gotten some time behind the wheel of this, just to you know, see it and experience it. It's actually, yeah, it's really well made car. Now let's get to the cons. There's always cons. So now let's get to the cons, and I'm gonna jump on the highway here. And the first con is this 2.5 liter CVT engine, 181 horsepower. This car needs over 200 horsepower, plain and simple. I mean, 200 horsepower is the sweet spot. That's where you get your power. And listen to that. It does not even push you into your seat, like, at all. And it's screaming right now, trying to get up to highway speed. I mean, I'm barely beating people onto the highway here. It's disappointing is one way to say it, but it's just like, this needs to be, if you had this 2.5 liter with a turbo, you probably have 220, 230 horsepower, and that's probably the sweet spot for this car. That's probably where you want to be. Now, that also being said, let me give both sides here. I'm doing highway speeds on the expressway. It's extra quiet in here. The road manners on the highway are fantastic. It's just the acceleration or lack thereof, and that noise from those CVT engines. There's so many CVT engines out there, transmissions I should say, out there, that, you know, I don't think we're going to get away from them for any time soon, because they do provide some good MPG, and in-town driving especially, it's nice for the stop and go traffic, because then you're not having to, the car's not always shifting down, shifting up, shifting down, shifting up, and being clunky. It kind of just rolls along quietly, keeps your RPMs low. But for a purist, I consider myself a purist, an enthusiast, car guy, and I want a transmission that gets the car up and goes, and this one is just like all the other ones. It's very bland and boring. The other con in this car that I found was the legroom in the back. The legroom in the back and the overall storage in the back with the third row up, because in my family and most families that need a 7-passenger vehicle, you're going to have that third row up most of the time. Or you'll have one up and one down, so you can store stuff. So this one, it's tiny. It's absolutely tiny. And the legroom back here, even behind these seats, I mean, I'm almost 6 feet tall, and my kids even say, you know, can you move up? And they never say that, ever. So the legroom in this is noticeably small, I should say. And that's my last con. So to wrap this thing up in a bow and send you on your way today, the Mitsubishi Outlander SEL Super All-Wheel Control is a well-made, super clean design. Has all the options you're going to want in a vehicle. It's got some size issues, but it's there. If you need it, you can can make it flexible. You can make it work for your family if you have to. The price is right. It's got all the technology you want. And I give it a thumbs up, but I give it if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, it would probably be like a 7.5. And that's not knocking it. That's just putting it where it should be with all the other vehicles of this size. I like it. It's a good value. It's fun to drive. I like the looks of it, and that's where it kind of stops. So for this week, appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe to the videos. Tell your friends to take a look at them. Share them with your friends. Car Dad Bill signing off. Real cars, real people for real life. This is a real car for real people for their real life. I'm hoping to get some nice stuff coming in soon. Maybe some Hellcats, some other stuff like that. The more people that subscribe and the more people that view these videos, the more cars, the better cars I can get. So that's how that works. Appreciate you guys watching. Take care.